All right, well, welcome to the Nitty Gritty. I don't know what episode this is. I forgot last week, too. 9? Ooh, we're so experienced. So we're going off the beaten path this week. I guess we kind of did last week. Normally we do kind of like the entrepreneurial, whatever. Yeah. We had an awesome guest last week named Kim, but we're going athletes this time. Oh, big, strong, strapping athletes that make me feel normal sized.
I feel really small,
really
which doesn't happen often in a room.
I'm excited for the picture at the end of this.
Yeah.
You're going to look tiny.
I know.
So we have a Bronson and Corbin Kaufusi. They don't need much introduction around here. The two scary looking Tongans that are nicer than everybody. You guys got to hear that a lot, right? The Kaufusi kindness. That's what we're gonna call it.
That's your thing, dang.
Yeah, see? Thank you.
Just coined it.
It's Kaufusi kindness.
There you go.
My theory is dad, right? Beating you up as your kid. You got to be. He's a tough dude.
Making us run everywhere.
Your football coach, your dad.
Yeah.
Is your mom tough?
She's the scary one.
Oh, she's
No, shut up, really?
Yeah, she's the boss.
She lays down the law.
She's the mayor.
Really? She is the mayor. For those of you that don't know.
Steve enforces the law.
Yeah.
Get that a little closer to
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
there we go. All right, so both you guys are in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. You're with the New York Jets, Bronson.
Mm-hmm.
Corbin is with the best team in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints.
Coming for you.
No big deal. Wait, do you guys play? They play this year?
The third game of the preseason.
Oh, where?
In New York.
Oh,
that's going to be fun.
road trip.
Yeah.
That
After
dude.
the game. Go tackle him and start beating him up.
That'd be funny
my
if you guys
brother.
stage a fight afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
We'll make him take off his jersey as if we're going to change it, and we'll run off with it. Screw you.
All right, so a little history. So Bronson, 2016, 17,
Yeah.
you were drafted third round.
Uh-huh.
So you went to the Ravens.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Broke the ankle
Broke the
preseason.
ankle. Yeah, during training camp.
It was not that it was cool that it happened, but it was cool to read what your coaches were saying about you just in that short amount of time. Just it's all good. We need him. He's a great player. Harbaugh loved you.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
What was the draft process like?
It was pretty wild.
Yeah?
I enjoyed it. The combine was the craziest part, I think, just because, it's intense and stuff. But then you usually don't know where you're going to go, so just hope for the best. And no, I was excited when they drafted me and gave me the opportunity. And
Did you have any idea? Because I know a lot of times you talk to guys and they'll have, teams are whispering to them or whatever. Did you have any idea going into draft night what was going to happen?
Idea.
Nothing.
I was just sitting there, awkward, nervous. I'm like, no one talked to me. No one stayed by. No one came over to the house. It's like, Corbin, don't even make a joke.
No draft party, no nothing.
Don't even call my phone.
he's like, oh, third round. Haven't heard you yet.
Yeah, Corbin would be that guy who calls me
guys.
on the phone and act like someone, and it's not.
Oh,
that.
my
So
gosh.
I made sure he had to promise. The mayor, of course, was like, "Hey, don't be messing around."
The mayor.
What team's in Utah?
Oh,
It's me.
yeah.
Wow. So where were you projected? Where was you? Third, fourth round?
Yeah,
right?
I was like third. Yeah, right there,
Wow.
mid round.
So that had to be exciting.
So that was exciting. Yeah.
Baltimore's a cool place too.
Oh, yeah, cool place. Lots
I
of
spent
stuff
some time
going
in
on.
Maryland. Now on the flip side, Corbin, did you call him to rub it in?
Oh, I wanted to. The
mayor said no?
My wife was like, "Don't you dare call him." I was like, "No, I'm calling this
You
man."
kind of married a mayor too, man.
Oh yeah,
Hillary. So starting goaltender or keeper at BYU women's soccer, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's. Yep. I don't mess with her.
She doesn't mess around. She's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, Corbin, because it was kind of the flip side, because we all expect you to get drafted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My draft process was way different than his.
But it's funny
his is
because
crazy.
It's funny because I remember when you got home from remission. Mm-hmm. It's so funny to think of that Corbin and the one that's sitting right here, so scrawny. So scrawny, clean shaven. He looked like he was a 7 foot tall, 14-year-old.
No, seriously.
And just the sweetest kid. But then each year it was just
food each
right,
year,
a little
man.
more food. And then you played basketball and football. That had to be hard.
That was so rough. It was fun, but I would never, knowing what after going through, I would have never done it.
You did that 2
Oh,
years?
for sure.
Yeah.
Did you want to
was
play
fun.
basketball, or were the coaches convincing you to come out and be on the team
Well,
to add a little bit of strength?
Well, I had played 2 years previous, only basketball. And so the third year, I switched to football.
That's right.
And the coach was like, but come back and play the season of basketball when you're done. And I won't lie, after the second week of football, I was like, this is my thing. I'm not going back to
Right.
basketball. But I had promised Coach Rose, I'm like, I'll come back. And I was under the impression I'd go back and just be the big body, right?
Right.
And I still was, but I get back there, and he's like, we need you back to where you were. So he put me on a treadmill every day.
Oh, he wanted to lighten you back up.
Oh, I lost 25 in 2 weeks.
Whoa.
In 2 weeks?
2 weeks. I was
And he's
throwing
hard
up
to
every
say.
day.
He's hard to say no to. Like, I love Dave.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
like, if Dave asked me to do something, I'd be like, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
if
sir.
he's serious and like wants you to do it, you're like, okay, like,
Right.
I'll do it.
I love Dave. We got to get him on here. But yeah, that was probably a tough decision because it's
Yeah.
like you love both.
Mhm.
I think you loved football more, but
Yeah,
it would still be hard to say like to call Coach Rose.
Yeah.
Not just Coach, but Coach
Coach
Rose.
Rose would be like, hey,
Yeah, you had two pretty tough coaches
Yeah.
at that time, right? Because you had Bronco and Dave.
yeah. So it was just,
And so it was like, hey, I'm quitting.
yeah.
I'm going to go play football. You can call Bronco.
I was so
That was-
nervous about that. That
Oh.
was like more nerve wracking to me.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That would be so scary.
I walked into his office and I was like, hey, like I know that he already knows what this is about, but I was just like, so how's your
I'm
day
done. Bye.
going?"
Okay.
That's how you know you were raised right, though. You went in and did it face to face. At
Oh,
least
yeah.
you didn't send him a text
Had to.
job.
or have him find out on the news.
Yeah. Tweet
So
it out.
what? So what was there like a moment or a practice or a game where you're just like, it's football?
Oh, I think it was like the first game because I
Right.
came back and to be honest, I didn't expect to play at all that first season at
Right.
all. And
I was amping him up. I was like, you don't know what it's
I'm
like,
dude,
bro.
I'm just
You
along
know?
for the ride. I'm like,
Get
wow,
ready.
I'm done with basketball. Look at me, I'm back on the football field.
Right.
And then I remember like in the end of the first quarter, my dad's like, "Hey, go in," and I was like, "What?" I thought I wasn't going in this season. He's like, "Get in there," and I was like. And I ran around like a chicken with my head cut off, but apparently I did decent
That's a
enough
big
that
chicken.
I played.
That's
so,
That's a big chicken.
so-
Wow.
You had to sack
After-
that
after
game.
that first
If you
game.
had to sack that game,
Oh yeah.
I was freaking out.
Oh,
Because he had
my
a sack
gosh.
against Arizona in his first game, and I was like, he's not.
Well, I didn't
once
think
you
anything
taste
of it.
that-
You don't know like how big things are until after. I was like,
Right.
yeah, people get sacks all the time.
That was Kalani's first game, right?
yeah,
The Arizona game?
yeah. We had
Oh,
like Taysom,
that was a
Jamal
fun
that whole
game.
season.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, man. That was
So-
a good year.
What's really cool, I mean, I don't know if you guys take some time to sit back and think about it, but the odds of people getting to college, getting to the NFL, but then brothers doing it, I mean, what about how you guys were brought up got you to, outside of just being massive human beings, what allowed you guys to kind of get in that state of mind where you're like, okay, I'm going to go and do basketball and football, or I'm going to get the NFL, you know what I mean? Like, what about in the family life kind of allowed you to get there?
I think first of all, there's like a foundation set of like your character, like really like who am I, and I think that starts in the home. And then my parents were always good about work ethic, giving up what needs to get done before what you want to get done, and then honestly letting us do whatever we wanted. Like my mom and dad, they didn't care if we didn't play football. My dad, I played baseball. I played soccer first for years. I thought I was going to be a major league soccer player. And then everyone got faster. So then I thought
You kept growing, they got faster.
I went from like being in the forwards. I literally, I'm not lying to you, started in the forwards, went to the
Just kept
middies,
moving
went
back.
to the, and then I was in the goalie. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I got this is way too stressful. No thanks. So then from there I started playing basketball, and then we just did everything. And I wasn't even going to play football. And then my friends talked me into it in high school. And then
Really?
my second year, yeah, because I was playing basketball, and then I just kind of fell in love with it. And then
So when did you start football?
so I started in 8th grade. I played tackle in 8th grade.
That's
And then I was a quarterback for 2 years, and then
How big were you in 8th grade?
I wasn't that big. I didn't get big till my
He was a
freshman year.
man child.
No,
Don't let him fool you.
I grew 5 inches in 3 months between 8th grade and 9th grade. So I went from like
Must be
5'11"
nice.
to like 6'4".
Wait, is that for real?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So my knees were killing me. I was like, oh man.
Dang.
Yeah. So then I was like 6'4" freshman playing quarterback, and then I was just gonna play basketball, and then end up playing football. But it kind of goes back to, I thought was important, and looking back on it, like you said, is that like my dad let us try everything, and just really just be active. And then I didn't even realize like my sophomore year, I get called down to Broncos office and they offer me a scholarship, and I have no idea. I was like, scholarship? Wait, you can get a scholarship to go play football? And my dad's like, this is what I do. I'm like, I didn't even know, because I didn't even know my dad played football growing up. Like, I didn't know he played in the NFL. I didn't know. Like,
You didn't know?
I didn't even know until I was like in maybe like 7th or 8th grade. And so I didn't even know about the whole football thing. And I knew he was a coach, but I didn't know that until. And I didn't know, like, oh, I should be training and getting ready for high school. So I didn't do personal training. I did nothing. Like, we were just out there just
had
playing.
a good time.
Yeah, we just played, had fun. And then but the thing is, like, once we realized and we kind of saw our friends and, seeing how it all worked, then we're like, oh, man, let's go after this
kind of locked in a little bit.
Yeah, then we
at
locked
that
in
point.
a little bit. Yeah. So it was good.
I would have never thought that.
Nope.
Like, I thought you guys would be like football diehard since you were little.
Well, yeah,
Like,
dad in the
like
NFL,
dad-
coaching. You would have thought it's just like,
not even telling you that he was like what he was. Like,
His stuff was hidden.
Right.
In boxes at home.
what
I
is
saw
it with a lot of retired football players that are like that, or athletes in general? It's like they don't like. It's not a big. They don't talk about it a ton.
I don't know.
Just humility, maybe from that generation.
Maybe, yeah, because I feel like that generation,
Right.
it's like 80s, 90s guys are just kind of chill. They're like,
kinda
it
like
was
the
just
last
something
of
I
the
did,
old school
but
guys.
Yeah, very old school.
Well, and maybe it was a parenting thing. It'd be interesting to ask Steve, like, do you not talk about it to not sway your boys? Because he's obviously that they wanted you guys to find your thing,
yeah.
Yeah.
right?
He was
Oh,
big
yeah.
into that.
It
He was
was-
always big into that. Yeah.
See,
It was kind of crazy, yeah.
And I think you and I are that way with our kid. Like, my kids
I
played
struggle with it.
basketball, baseball, soccer.
you got kids
Now I've
these
got him
days.
in
that-
MMA,
yeah.
and that's it. Soccer is what
Yeah.
he loves. He's a keeper,
Oh, sweet.
and now he's doing like jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. He's obsessed.
See, yeah,
Yeah,
I would have
see, it's
loved
like
that.
whenever
I'm
you
going to
find
start
your-
doing that, man.
Obsessed.
Because Bronson, like, he played basketball, like, competitively early,
the
and I was the
AAU.
kid that my mom sent me to, like, to like
Corbin's like a
art
genius.
things. Like, my mom would send me to, like, math camp at the rec center and stuff, like, art shows. Like, literally, like, Bronson, like, would go to Vegas to, like, play a basketball
Hey,
game.
Corbin, head to
I
the
would just,
tournament.
like, kind of
I
go.
play at school on the summer.
And people were
Corbin's
like,
at chess camp again.
Oh, for
He'll
real?
be back
No,
next
seriously,
week.
huh?
like,
He's not
it
lying
was,
either.
it was weird. Like, all my friends that younger, like, probably look at me now and, like, we would have never thought. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Wow.
Late bloomer, bro. Late bloomer.
So growing up like that, and you see kids now that literally are choosing a sport at 4.
Oh, it's crazy.
I mean,
yeah, I see it on Instagram.
to Cam's point, like, seriously, my son's friends, they're all year-round one sport. I mean, as you grow up, I mean, are you going to follow more of a I want you to specialize route, or are you going to follow more of a go out there and do your thing route?
I for sure want to say do your thing route. Like, and I think it's hard because there's so many different things now, like competition wise, where
Right.
some of the times if your kids aren't in these like
Elite programs,
specialized
yep.
things, like they don't get a shot.
Yep.
And I think that's so sad because then they miss out on having like super fun childhood doing whatever they want, you know?
Yep.
But I definitely want to lean more towards like do whatever you want. And then when you find something you love and if you really want to push for it, then
Then
we
you
can
go.
specialize a little bit, but we're not going to do anything until you find what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's probably a moving target.
Exactly. Yeah. They
You
might
know?
want to do this or that.
Yeah. Like you liked, soccer.
Yeah.
You like, striker, then midfielder, then defender, then keeper.
Love to keep
Then-
Shout out to my wife, Taylor.
But yeah, I mean, the hard part though is now there's this like huge separation between like you sign up for a city league, like maybe I'm sure it was this way for you guys growing up. Like for me, city leagues were legit.
Yeah. Everyone did.
But
something.
now,
No sense.
like you
Yeah.
they can't learn.
Yeah.
Like they spray paint the bases on the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's no score.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
Everyone gets
so
a trophy,
stupid.
you
I would
know?
struggle with that.
Oh, it's
See, junior
dude.
jazz used to be competitive.
Right.
Man.
was the
Yeah.
Like, that was the
But
Yeah.
see, to get that, now you have to pay.
yeah.
Like,
Now it's like
like I grew up playing hockey, and it was like that's the expensive sport. It's an expensive sport because all the padding and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now it doesn't matter what you play. It's all
Oh,
like
it's
if you
fun,
want to
yeah.
play in more of an advanced league as a kid, you're paying out the ears because you have to be on
Yeah.
a travel team,
Yeah, shoes.
like dues,
Everything.
club dues,
Yeah.
travel, and so
You're
yeah, it's
driving
really
over
that's
practice.
crazy.
yeah.
No, yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna have to figure this out because we should talk about that. First kid just got here, right?
Just had baby Taika.
I tried to invest in the child, but
Taika
you guys wouldn't let me.
Hey.
I wanted to be the agent right off the bat. Have you seen his wife?
No.
I mean, she's what, 6 foot tall?
Yeah, a little over 6 feet.
like
almost 6'1".
D1 keeper, and
Oh,
I'm
these
just
kids
like,
are gonna be
could you
athletes.
imagine?
See, I didn't know that she was a beast. I watched her play goalie, but when I really saw her was when she played safety and quarterback against my sister in flag football. And that's when I was like, okay, you're a beast. Like,
Well, and it's not just like physically. Like she's got that like
no, yeah, she can play
that-
any sport. She's the
that
best
killer
golfer.
instinct.
yeah.
Like she's competitive.
Oh yeah, so competitive.
I'd love to see you guys
Broken-
fight.
oh, you
not
want-
like
I'll tell
physically,
you
just
something.
like one of your
No.
marriage fights. You know?
No, I'll tell you about our sports. We can't play tennis against each other. Broken rackets, ping pong.
Ping pong.
Ping pong.
So
I've
bad.
caught literally right down the middle of my forehead ping pong paddles because we are so competitive. Like I love that about her.
I
She's
think
over there
that's
getting
rad.
madder and beating me. I like when she beats me and we play hard because she's so competitive. I'm like, yeah, oh, let's go. And
Could you imagine getting hit? Because that's like the long way, right? There's like some serious like velocity.
yes,
And if you
you're
got
gonna get
that,
knocked out. You know?
dude, she'll turn the Tongan on. She's got to be careful.
Right?
You don't want to flip that switch.
See, yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I hope Taika for sure will have that little edge to him.
It has to, right?
Oh yeah, he has to. So
Such a cool name.
We're excited
It's
for
been
Taika.
fun to watch you with the little one too.
Oh man, I've been
You're loving
trying to
it.
convince this dude for years. So now
So cool.
my
It's
time
the
has
best,
come
huh?
to be the funkle. You know.
The funkle.
fun uncle.
Well, I learned something you could teach him. You know, when he gets a little older.
Yeah.
That truck thing that you did.
Good old truck.
Oh man. Well, yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So when was Taika born?
So he was born May 30th.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are they going to go out to New York?
Yeah.
here
So
pretty
they'll
soon?
fly out during the preseason. So after like the first few weeks, and then they'll be there, and then.
So will they travel the games with you? Like,
No, they won't travel to games. It's like such a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just non-stop.
Yeah.
Like it's just a long march, honestly. And it just, every day, like every hour, I feel like is just valuable during the season. So
Yeah.
you're doing something to help you to be better. And
It's crazy.
You know?
Like me being able to go out and do the
Yeah,
Saints
you know
thing.
what it's like.
Well, it's crazy. Like, because I'm there. I get there at 5 in the morning to start cooking. I start cooking the night before, but it's amazing how many of the same cars from Thursday night are still there Friday morning at 5. Mostly coaches.
yeah.
But then you start seeing players rolling at like 6.
Oh, yeah.
And then I
Everyone's
start
there.
cleaning up around 5 in the afternoon, and nobody's left yet.
Yeah, everyone's still there.
And so it's a lot of hours. It would be. I think that would be a pretty hard thing, family wise.
and a lot of people don't see that. They see
Yeah.
the professional athlete. They hear about all the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not all glamour and glitz, though.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
And so, I mean, you've experienced it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, were you surprised when you got in what it actually was?
Yeah, for me, for me, like when I went to Baltimore, my like mentor player that kind of took me underneath his wing. He got there the same year, Eric Weddle. So he played at the Chargers, went to the Ravens.
Yep.
So takes me underneath his wing.
I want to not like him, just because
You have to like him though.
he's amazing.
You have to like him. Yeah.
He's the coolest guy.
He's the coolest guy, family
Like,
dude,
right.
worker. Like, and to see him, like how he operates, his day to day is just, you're just like taken back. It's like, at first you're like, can I do this? And then when you start going with him, you're like, all right, I just gotta keep going. Stay in there.
I'm trying to do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep up with this man. Yeah, because he has. And I feel like every player has their little, routine that they have. So you get to sit back
For
and kind of
sure.
see different routines, and then you take some, whatever you want to do to yours, and.
What's a typical day like? I mean, you talk about there's just always something going. Is it always like working out? Is it drill work? Is it film? I mean, what does a day look like?
I would say during the season, it turns into like more of like a mental thing because you're going to have your practices, but you can't practice forever. So it's only like just over, 2.5 hours. And then you have, you still work out and lift and stuff. But then after that, that's 3 hours of your day. After that, it's straight recovery for hours on end of recovery, getting your body right to go out there and just play well and be healthy for the next week. Then you go into film. You're watching films probably the most time. You're watching so much film, just getting ready. You're watching just little details, and you're just locked in. And so you have to do that, for those, including training camp. which you're doing the same thing. So, and then if you go on, you're about 25 weeks there where you're just locked in and 24/7. Yeah.
With the recovery side, did you notice a difference between NFL recovery and college recovery as far as how they approach it? Or do you feel like you learned a lot of those skills on how to recover, how to take care of your body when you're at the Y?
I feel like in college, obviously you're younger, so you heal a little faster.
Yeah.
But also,
Go to Wendy's a little bit more
yeah,
often.
Wendy's, a little fries.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, I felt like, and there's no school. So I think if you take out the school,
Yeah.
if you're still putting in hours, you got to go to class, you got to still do homework, and you take that out, fill that in with recovery. You're recovering a long time, and you take it to like a whole new level.
Yeah.
Like you start seeing different things. Like there's different ways to recover. There's different tools people use. There's all these different things, and it's like it's pretty amazing, honestly, when you get to see it, up close and personal.
Well, to have that extra time instead of school to recover, that's big. Yeah. So you said something interesting. This is for you.
Oh shoot!
Like, well, the mentor thing,
Yeah.
because I feel like that's pretty common. Like, I think it's important to come in with like the right attitude, right, and then try to connect with some of the veteran guys and learn.
Yeah.
Like I've like Taysom.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know Taysom, so it's like it wasn't hard for him. Like he's a likable guy, who works his butt off.
Yeah.
Obviously, Drew and him but have you noticed anybody like Corbin being out in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Like, is there anybody that you've kind of gravitated? Because it looks like you're getting along with everybody pretty good.
Yeah.
Like right away, like looking at your
I like the
Instagram
dudes
stories.
and stuff, but I think the guy that I gravitate for sure is Cam Jordan, because he's legendary,
The
man.
man.
He's a legendary dude, and like getting to see the way he operates, and he's one of those guys where a lot of people might not know his name when they should.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, like I started watching film on him before, like I even was gonna go there, and it's like this dude is a hidden gem.
He's
he's a
amazing.
diamond in the rough. People don't see what he does. It's unbelievable.
Why do you think that is? Media market, maybe? Like,
I think
because he's
a
in New
little-
Orleans?
Yeah, I think a little bit of that, and I don't
Drew
know.
Brees, kind of.
Yeah, I
Like,
think some of that.
That's who they talk about the most, maybe.
Because if you look at like his stats, like he could have
Oh.
been the defensive player of the year for multiple years in the past couple of years, and then you watch him play, and it's like this dude is destroying everybody.
Right.
But then like seeing him in the locker room and his routine, like he's an awesome guy. First time I saw him, I walk in and he's playing Super Smash Bros, and I was like, that's like my game, and I was like,
Corbin can go
This is a man after my
3
own
on
heart.
1. Corbin can beat you. So I was like, hey, let him win, bro.
Isn't that fun? So has that been something that kind of like
yeah,
helped break the ice a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. I was
I mean,
like,
how
that rookie,
cool
and
is
I was
that?
Like, hey, you guys need a fourth? And they're like, yeah. And he was so cool. Some of the guys can be like, no, we're playing.
Right.
And he has no care in the world. He's like, yeah, bro, hop on and play with him. And I was like, I gotta win so I can earn some respect here. If I win this video
Start with the game.
Cam
Respect
Jordan will
starts in the
respect
locker
me.
Maybe we'll give you a pair of shoes, dude. He's got a shoe game that is
Unreal.
unmatched, and they're 15s. Like that's what I wear. So like I try to hint
we
all
wear
the time.
too.
Like, I
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready for hand-me-downs. Like whenever you
Me
guys,
too. I'm ready for that.
whenever you're out of shoes
His
or
locker's
sick
next
of
to
them.
mine. There's a new box every day.
It's-
a Nike box every day.
That's awesome.
I saw him like throw away a pair of cleats and like everyone leaves and it's just me in the locker room and I'm like,
Should I take him?
where'd those go? Not too much stuff on top. Let's go.
That is so good. Well, yeah, and he's a nice guy. I remember the very first time I was out there.
Mm-hmm.
This you'll understand this, but so I did a little quarterback. Like it was Taysom hired me to teach a class to the quarterbacks, like a barbecue class, and everybody started smelling it. Cam Jordan walks in a onesie,
Of course.
like in jammies.
Yeah.
The PJ,
He's just like, "What's going on in here?" And he's just eating ribs and hanging out, and just like super nice guy.
Yeah,
and
he is awesome.
I'm just like, dude, who could pull that off, a onesie? So,
Oh, yeah.
but I mean, you talk about Eric Weddle, Bronson,
Yeah.
like what better guy to learn from? Not just the game, but
Yeah.
discipline, working hard, and then you with Cam Jordan. Like, could you ask for two
Yeah.
better mentors to start?
Oh, exactly.
Like that's huge.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, that's pretty cool.
That is awesome. Are you surprised more by, like, when you approached Cam? Were you surprised that he was like willing to, like, to be cool with you? You know what I mean? Or
I
like,
think so. And that's
because you hear a lot of like the hazing that goes on, or like they treat the rookies certain ways. Is it still happening? Is it not as much as people hear about?
At least for me, like I haven't experienced it a lot, but there's definitely, especially like right when you get there as rookies, there's definitely kind of this weird vibe because you're literally there to take someone's job. Like
Yep.
everyone is after each other's jobs.
That's a really good point.
It's like
I've never
it's like
thought
their
about
families,
that.
right?
Yeah, it's like you're here to take someone else's
Whoa.
living.
Yeah.
And so, and especially like older guys that, you know, guys that are on the edge, they kind of look at you and everyone's a threat. You know,
Yeah.
everyone's a
Little
threat.
bastard.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you come in
Steal
here,
my
this
job.
young guy. But Cam, I
Showing
think it
you
was cool
pictures of
because
their
Cam was
kids.
just so comfortable with himself.
Yeah.
Like, and where his position, like he's accomplished so much. Like he didn't have he was like that dude that it surprised me a ton.
Yeah.
How open he was to like me and able to talk. Like he was probably the only vet I talked to like that first week.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I actually thought like, oh, this guy, he actually might want me to be successful.
Well, I think there's an interesting parallel there to like the business world too. Like you notice the more successful people, they don't have to be a peacock anymore, right?
Exactly.
Like you're not a threat to them.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I had help. So it's not like anybody's really threatening their job.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how we should be all the time. But that's where it's like, hey, it's good karma. Let's help these guys out.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And
That's
so
true.
I think there are a lot.
Oh yeah,
We've met
scarcity
some-
versus abundance.
Whoa,
The more
that
successful
was
you
deep.
are.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Got there fast.
Yeah.
Scarcity versus abundance.
Right. Wow.
So-
I'll have to remember that one.
Do you guys have any advice that you've been given along the way that you're happy you didn't listen to?
I didn't listen to.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's someone telling you, oh,
Oh, I got one.
the odds are against you, don't
Yeah.
spend time doing that.
Yeah, I got one. I would say someone told me not to celebrate after I make plays and just go line up. And I said, and I did it I'd do it for a little while, but then once I started celebrating, like, you know, it increases like your passion. You're more into the game. You get more after it, you know, and that's part of the
Adrenaline.
game. It really is part of the game because you think about it. It's like if you were in a fight, like every punch counts, right? But we get to go and hit someone, and then we get to go and hang out or go jump around with our friends, and then do it again. So I'd rather keep making plays, jump around, and every time I get the more I jump around, the more excited this whole group of guys gets. And so I think like being able to just go out there and when you make a play, have fun with your guys.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
So when did you learn that?
huh?
When did that? I remember.
Last week.
I remember between junior and senior year for you.
There it is. Yeah, this
Okay.
guy's good, man.
Right?
This
Well,
guy's good.
dude, like that's when I was like the most tight with.
Yeah.
I would say the team, just because like I was so tight with the Bronco crew, and I was there a
Yeah.
lot, and I mean I was still really tight with the team, but there was something about those couple years,
Yeah.
and I remember Vic Soto just saying like, "I'm here to talk to Bronson.
I mean,
I'm here to make him mean."
yeah.
I noticed like obviously it was probably a lot of things because I think with the college players you see like you definitely see an improvement every year, right? Because
Yeah.
they improve, they're still growing. You guys are still growing, but I noticed like a totally different side of you your senior year,
Yeah.
and that was one of the things. Like you were having more fun
Yeah.
because that was your best statistical year, right?
Oh, yeah.
by far.
Yeah, by far.
It was like
yeah.
11, 12 sacks or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Like, okay, I'm not a nerd. I read that today. I wanted to see the comparison.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
okay. It's okay.
Listen, it was so fun to watch because it's like I've always wondered how you guys balance. Well, we're gonna trademark this
Yeah.
Kaufusi kindness thing,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean that's the thing. Like you guys are so nice,
Yeah.
but that doesn't translate in football.
No, yeah, no.
Like you got to be able to shut that off. And
Yeah.
so there was something about that senior year. It was like a switch flipped or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what was that?
What was it? I would say I learned not to care as much, I think. I'm the type of guy who wants to be perfect
Okay.
in everything I do.
Right.
Like every single thing. So but with that comes like you play a little slower because you're thinking too much. And then also
More rigid.
yeah, you're more rigid. But then once I learned I know this defense and I'm going to take risks and I'm just going to go make plays. And you know, a lot of the plays I was making, I was still within my job, but it was kind of a different way to do it, I would say. But because of it, it produced more for me. And so because of that, I just learned, shoot, I'm just going to go out there and have fun. I'm going to play, and if I mess up, whatever.
Right.
And so
well, you get more out of it. Like for every mess up, there's 10, you know, whatever else.
Exactly.
Positive things. And if you lift everybody else around you.
Yeah.
Like I really saw that with you too. Like every year, I mean, especially your senior year, like you really became, I think both of you had this where you really like brought everybody up around you.
You
like
became the vocal leader, the energy. You could see it. Right?
Yeah.
You could totally see it.
It's and that's like key. If you want to be good, especially on defense, you got to have some energy.
Right.
And guys, you know, and if everyone's got it, oh man, it's so fun. Like that's the best defense to be.
Well, and you know, defense doesn't get enough credit. That's why I always like spoil the O-line, right? Because the O-line doesn't get any love.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I love the O-line.
Everyone loves.
I
the
respect
O-line.
the O-line probably the most. I probably respect them the most.
And you hear that from players.
Yeah.
But you don't read about them.
Yeah.
They're the grinders. They're
that's why
they're the
like,
workhorses.
They're the position group at BYU that doesn't pay for food. Like whenever they want food for film, they get it.
They get it.
Like that's me showing like
appreciation,
love to the O-line,
right?
right?
That's
but
real.
Defense, especially as like the NFL's changing.
Yeah.
Like I think you're seeing it in college too. Like you've got to do more to kind of stand out because it's not, you know, everyone wants points, right?
Yeah. That's the point game.
There's rules against you every year. You know, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
You can't land on a quarterback anymore.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. So there's a lot to think about and a lot that you have to do to stand out. You know, I was thinking about this today. Well, let me backtrack. So, older brother, little brother. How far apart are you guys? 4 years?
18 months.
8? That's it?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Now you know why we hate each other, but we love each other.
I hate this dude so much.
Yeah.
So with only 18 months, like,
For 20 months. What is it? Something like that.
are you
Under 2
like,
years.
do you look at him like an older brother? At least let's take it to football.
Football?
Like he's been in the NFL 3 years,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, you've been through the business side of it now.
Yeah.
You've been injured. You've been put on waivers.
Yeah.
Like
Done
kind
it
of
all.
gone through the whole
Done it
thing
all.
already. Like, what are you telling Corbin, you know, to do to prepare? And two, are you listening?
Oh, absolutely. Like that was one thing.
Switch. There was a switch that went on Corbin's head eventually.
There was
You
one
know
thing
what I
like
mean?
when I got like decided, oh, I can actually play football. I might earn a living playing some football for a little bit. Like that's when I switched over to him. I was like, tell me everything you know because I don't know much about it. And so like literally.
So were you guys like that before? Like
No,
outside
he
of
didn't
football?
You didn't really care, I'd say, as much like about
Yeah.
like what's it like? Oh, of course you want to know what it's like, but it wasn't like for personal use.
Right.
Yeah.
It
You know what
wasn't
I mean?
like, you know, during high school, he's like, hey, I like this girl. Like, what should I do?
What should I do?
It wasn't anything like that.
Yeah.
It was more you asking him to help you with math.
Yeah. Teach me about that.
Exactly. No.
So, like, what is an like? I'm curious. Like, you hear athletes talk, and you know, I think you have to always think, you know, I am the best at what I do, or you're never going to survive, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is like cutthroat. So as you go into the season, I mean, what are expectations in your head? Like, what are you thinking? Like, I'm going to have a X amount of year career. I'm going to be a starter, or is it I'm going to grind for a couple of years? My goal is to make a roster. Like what are like expectations going into it for you?
I think it kind of changes as time goes on, but literally, at least for me, and I was, you know, there for OTAs and minicamp, and that was just so eye-opening. Like, I won't lie, the first 2 weeks are just the most stressful things. Guys that come in as rookies, they don't show up on the bus the next morning. It just whittles down, and you're like, man, when are they going to call me in? You know, every night you're like, well, the coach hasn't called me in, so I guess I still have a job. But I think for
literally
me,
every night you're just like,
oh yeah, for the first 2 weeks, like watching so many people get cut and, you know,
I told him. I swear I
released.
told him.
And some of the best advice I got from an old teammate was nobody cares. Like in the NFL, nobody cares. Nobody cares that like you had all these surgeries, and nobody cares that you came back way faster than you were expected to. And it's so true. You know, you're just there to perform. And so I got to the point where you care, but you don't care so much that it can kind of mess with your head. Because that kind of stress, like watching some buddies come in and leave, that could mess with you. It's like, oh shoot, I thought he was doing good, you know?
yeah.
And so I think my expectation is just going to like literally every day. It's what can I do today to solidify myself as a player. and then go to the next day. What can I do good today or better from yesterday so that the coaches can notice me?
So just little small incremental successes.
Yeah, because and a lot of people are like, hey, so do you think you'll play this much this season? It's like, I have no idea because I'm not even on a team. You signed a contract, but that thing doesn't take place until you make the roster. And so it's just like I got to take every single day one step at a time.
Yeah, and you can't think about it. It kind of runs parallel to what you were saying about your senior year. Like, if you're not just having fun and just doing what you know how to do, like one day at a time, it makes you rigid. Like, Absolutely. It makes you overthink. It makes, your reaction time probably slows.
Yeah.
So, Bronson, I'm curious. Your approach this year, is starting your 4th year.
Yeah.
How is it different than Corbin going into it year 1, or is it very similar?
Oh, I would say it's similar. It's similar and different, just because I've gone through it.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, I've pretty much done everything you can do. And so I would say, it is a day by day mentality though. That's always stuck with me day by day. Well, how can I get 1% better today? And because, if you get a little better, shine a little bit day by day, all of a sudden you just stacked all these days, and now you're like, okay, I should be, we'll see what happens. And then I think the difference is just like I was telling Corbin this, it's the faster you learn how to, not care as much, but also know that I'm supposed to be here. Like, you're going
that
locker
confidence.
room. No matter what team you go to, there's going to be great players, names of dudes that are dudes that you've watched since you were a kid.
Right.
You know these guys. You've watched film on them since you were little, or since you were, in college. Whatever. Yeah. So
he was pretty little like 4 years ago.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, right.
Compared to now.
Yeah. So but you go in that locker room, you see these guys, and it's you're kind of starstruck at first, but then like the faster you can learn, I belong here. And I felt like, for me, I felt like that was something that took me a second. And then once I realized that, like, my game was just increased. And so I think that's a big part of the NFL, or I just felt like with anything in life, it kind of like the sooner you realize you belong, then you start, doing things a little different, like you walk different, how you approach everything's different. And you realize, nothing's just given to me. Everything is earned, and I'm going to earn this every day, every decision, everything I do. Sleep, eat, watch film, recover, and then we'll just see what happens. So,
well, and something that I thought about today that I'd never thought about before is when you're talking, you guys are at the highest level, right? So when you look back, you were the man in high school, you go to college, you start to succeed. Senior year, you are the leader. You have reached like the ultimate levels of success. Now you're thrown into the NFL, and it's like, oh crap! I gotta start all over again.
Right.
It's like they don't care. They don't care what I did back at.
Well, and
back
it's all
college.
it's all guys that
are
were
like
the
you.
stars in junior high.
Yeah.
The stars in high school.
So it's like the first time like you're dealing with failure almost.
Yeah.
In athletics, right?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that kind of weird to experience? Like for the first time, like maybe I'm not the biggest, fastest, strongest.
Oh, yeah.
There's no weak links. Like when you look across the field, like at BYU, you're always going to find somebody that somebody must be hurt.
Like a guy that looks like me. You're like, okay, I got this guy.
Like the NFL, like the third string guys are like 5-star Alabama dudes.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there's no
great players. Everyone can play.
Everybody can play.
If you're on that team, if you're in the building, you can play.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You're great.
That was like some of the best advice Bronson gave me. Like right before I left, he's like, remember, everyone there is a pro. Like everyone there is a professional football player. So if you let your guard down for half a second, that dude will put you in the ground.
Absolutely.
And so and you realize that it's like literally every single one of the third, fourth string, it doesn't matter. All these dudes know how to play ball.
For sure. Well, and then your size, even because you guys have probably always had that kind of advantage with size.
Yeah.
Because you guys are big, but you're faster than you should be.
Yeah.
But in the NFL, that starts to
there's no gap.
Even
that
out
gap
a little
is so
bit.
skinny.
Right.
Then you find guys that are even freakier,
Right.
Yeah.
Like guys that shouldn't move at all that can literally just get going.
I think that football, I've been watching the free agency with basketball, and it just makes me hate basketball. Because, listening to you guys talk, like the work, the pressure, there's no minor league, there's no Europe League. I mean, there's Canada, but that doesn't translate very often back to the NFL. It does for some, but like you really have to lay it all out there. And tomorrow it can be
done,
over.
Yeah.
And, as sad as that is, I think that it could really benefit you in I shouldn't say normal life, but civilian life, we'll say.
Civilian life.
Like let's say that it does end, like you'll be able to take a lot of these things. Because, I mean, being an entrepreneur, it's the same.
It's a drive, yeah.
You risk it all.
Failure.
You risk it all. Like, my family doesn't eat if this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, blood, sweat, and tears. Like, I'm going to jump. Like, I would say the restaurant business is probably parallel to the NFL in the sense that your chances of succeeding in it are, like,
Nothing.
Yeah.
tiny.
Well, look at all entrepreneurs, man.
Right.
The amount of businesses that succeed compared to those who start.
Yeah.
Athletes who come into the league who don't make it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
all sorts of
and
stuff.
guys that fail, right? We'll use air quotes, but don't give up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then come back. Like,
Yeah.
when you got put on waivers, what did that?
Yeah.
That had to
man.
mess with you for a minute.
Oh, yeah. You're like, didn't expect that.
Right.
But then you're like, man, you kind of sit back a little bit and you're like, that's crazy. And then you just hope for the best. And you just hope another opportunity comes. And then when it comes, it's like, okay, man, that's like a second shot. Okay, what do I need to do?
Does that give you a little more belief in yourself, though, as an athlete? How long was that? How long were you on waivers?
I was on for like an hour. 24 hours.
See,
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That has
Get
to make
picked
you
up,
feel
yeah.
pretty good, right? Like
Yeah.
the fact that there's this other team that you don't think of anybody else looking at you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You're just like, man.
And it's like I go on waivers, and one day it's 24 hours, and you get picked up again. Like we've been talking a lot about this new thing I learned about the imposter syndrome. Is that what it's called? And I would imagine as an athlete, like not that would happen a lot. Like not feeling like what am I doing here? Like I'm not good enough to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got to get over that.
Yeah.
I would
Fast.
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 And I mean, because really, you guys are kind of in the same. Because you've got one more year for veteran, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I mean, in essence, this is a big year for you too.
Oh, yeah. I just feel like every year. I don't care how many years. Every year is huge for you.
And that's the right mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what year it is.
Yeah. Corbin going in, it's a big year.
It's a big year.
You get every snap. It's a big snap.
So you guys have both dealt with injuries, serious injuries.
Right.
Yeah.
Walk me through how you recovered through that. I mean,
Which one? I'm just kidding.
ACL, broken ankle,
Yeah, I've done a little. I've
shoulder.
done my fair
What
share.
was you had a
I had
bunch?
three.
Elbow.
I had, like, my tricep. My
Corbin was more of a
pinky, and my
beast than me
ankle.
with all his.
So-
Yeah.
Wait, what was it? Tricep.
Tricep, pinky, and ankle.
Then he
Okay.
played on it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it was just, it's one of those things where, like, I've seen a lot of guys, and even I have some teammates now at the Saints or rookies that are kind of nursing through some injuries, and it's all about mindset. That's all injury recovery is straight mindset.
Right.
Because some guys' injuries are worse than others and whatnot, but when you can see guys that are defeated, like guys that let it get to them, like, oh, I used to be such a great player, and then this happened, and like if you
Right.
cannot get over the fact that you can come back, like if you don't believe that, then you won't come back. It's like one of those things where I 100% believe that like I was able to come back as quick as I could because it was all mindset.
Right.
how did you get that mindset?
I think it's just hope, like because you have a goal, and even
Playing
though
against
like
Utah, that's what it is.
exactly, it's like you have your goals and what you want to do.
We need you, man.
And
That's right.
I think it's
No
kind
pressure.
of a personal thing, like where your drive is, like what
Yeah.
your motivation is, and because a lot of people can tell you this or that or try to motivate you, but it always
Yeah.
comes down to what do you want and where do you want it, like what do you want to be remembered as, and that kind of a thing. But
But you have to learn, like,
yeah,
if you have an injury, it's a playable injury. Like, you can play through it. Like, once you do it the first time, then you realize, wow, like my body is strong, but even my mind's even stronger. And
Mind
then you
over
realize,
matter.
Yeah.
I can play hurt. Like this injury, I can play. I can do this. I think with Corbin, like with his stuff, he learned that like few years before that, like being hurt and playing on different injuries, and then doing what it takes to get back. So that then when he faced it again, it was like
He was ready for it.
I've done this. Like I I can play with this pain. I can manage it, and I can still play like banged up.
You know, we heard a lot about that. If you guys listened to last week's, we had an amazing person on here. Her name's Kim White. Like, beat one of the rarest forms of cancer.
Really?
She, given 2 to 3 months to live 2 or 3 times.
Holy cow.
Wow.
And, I mean, she really drilled that home. Like, your mind is the most important thing. Like, your body will follow.
Yeah.
And,
It literally will.
like, hearing you say that. So, I was watching. Do you guys watch UFC?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
watch,
John Jones fought the other night.
Yeah.
Andrew was supposed to come to my house, but he didn't come. So anyway, so the main event, nobody has ever beat John Jones on a scorecard.
Yeah.
Just nobody. Like,
Yeah.
so Thiago Santos fought him. Went in the first round, he tore his ACL, his MCL, his PCL, and his meniscus.
Wow.
And he fought all 5 rounds and actually almost won.
Yeah, and almost won that decision.
I mean, every time he threw a kick, his knee, you'd see his knee buckle. And he'd just, like, pop it back in and keep going.
Yeah.
And he almost beat who most considered to be the greatest fighter ever. Like, you want to talk about mind over matter.
See, you can do it. Like,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so it really does go to show that if you get your mind right, the body will follow.
Yeah.
So do you think your parents helped instill that into you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they did. I mean, we're normal kids growing up. We're not special. We didn't want to do our chores. We didn't want to eat our greens.
We didn't listen to mom. We didn't listen to dad.
Yeah, we did get asked. We asked our mom. She said no. We go to dad. Ask her. He said go ask mom. Like, we were normal kids, and but I think there are when there were times to teach us about stuff. Like one lesson that we always learned is just like Kaufusi's never quit. We never quit, and that's just like been a saying in our family since we were little,
Yeah.
and like for me it sticks out to me because I quit. I went in and quit basketball my first time. My mom took me to the gym, and I said I don't want to play. It's too much running. Like I need some water, And my mom's like, all right, go get your water and then come back. And then I came back. And she's like, Bronson, Kaufusi's never quit. And I'm like, what does that mean?
How old were you when this was happening?
Oh, I was little. I was a little kid. Like, man, I want to say, when was the first time I played basketball? Like kindergarten or something? First grade?
Oh, so yeah, just
It's like
little.
I was a little guy, yeah. And my mom, I could probably barely dribble, but I still remember it. And I still remember with other stuff, like, that saying would come up, and I would always, I wouldn't quit. And then it just got instilled in me to where the point where it's just like, even in games where we're getting our butts kicked in games, I'm just like, you in front of me, watch out, because I'm about to whoop you. I don't care if you're up by 50. Like, you're gonna. Then my dad would always say, you know what? No matter what the score is, if we're killing them or if we're not, that man better respect you at the end of this game. And so then, even in high school, when we're little, he starts teaching us this because when we were younger, first time we're getting killed, we're done. I don't want to play hard.
we're like,
we're done.
Sucks.
And my dad, he sees that and he's like, no, come here. You're gonna, you know what? I don't care who you play against, but you're always gonna be playing against someone, whether it's football, a guy across the line, basketball, that guy, or just maybe it's a sport where you're just by yourself. You're playing against yourself.
Yeah, and you're playing the guy in the mirror, right?
Exactly. So then it's just like all those. There's just little lessons I can think of like throughout life where I was taught, and then they just kind of have been built on top of each other. Yeah.
So there's like a lot of example too, like watching my parents, because it's one thing to hear it from them, and when you're young you don't internalize it, but then like watching my mom and dad like do things. Like my mom was an avid marathon person.
Yeah, that's true.
And like we used to get so mad. We're like, we gotta go watch mom run again. Like, what the heck?
I have to go bike behind her.
Well, and then and then you get to high school and we're like, we're better athletes than mom. And then I remember my mom invited Bronson and I to run with her once.
Oh,
and she's like, okay, we're gonna do like one of my usual routines. And we died. Like literally.
It was like 17.2 miles.
And I threw up a couple times, and we cut it short. Like we walked home, and she finished.
I think you walked home. I finished.
I just beat you home. I got to the door first, so that's a win. But it was like one of those like most eye-opening things. Like I can't believe this is what she does. Like, It was just crazy to me. And I'm like, I will never, like, one, I will never quit because to see her do that, like, if my mom does it, then I surely have to do it. And two, I will never disrespect my mom again because she
That's her other saying.
is the beast.
Is I can do hard things.
Yeah, that's my mom.
Like, if it's
Who's
hard,
never
it's
quit,
like,
and I can do hard things. It's like, that is burnt into my mind.
for real.
You know, it's funny because you guys started this by saying, you know, they kind of let us do our thing. But it's got to be pretty cool, like, from both sides. Like, from you guys as kids, like, now that you're thinking about it.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
starting to
thinking that.
realize, like, whoa. It's like Jedi mind tricks my whole life.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, they knew what they were doing. And it's got to be even more exciting for them to, like, we have 2 kids in the NFL. They both are college graduates. Like, I mean, that's impressive. That's got to make them, like, super proud. And you know, I'll get a little sappy here, but I think at least from my perspective, the thing that I would be most proud about is just, like, how great of people you guys are. And it's your whole family.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
it's
seriously.
everybody. Like, you guys are just the nicest
Corbin's nicer
people.
than me.
I don't know about that. You guys are both really nice, but I mean, you're good people, and that I think is more important than anything else.
Yeah.
And so they did a hell of a job,
Yeah.
right?
All credit to them. Jeez.
Steve and Michelle. Shout out.
Who'd have
Stephen
thought?
the mayor. Come on.
Yeah, Stephen the Madame
Respect,
Mayor.
please. A little
The
respect.
foreigner and
Madame
the mayor,
Mayor,
man.
Madame
The
Mayor
mayor.
and her bodyguard.
What was it like having your dad as your coach at the college level?
Okay, I'll talk first. Then about this. You know, everyone
Yeah,
brings this up.
he
Let me
was-
talk first,
yeah.
just because Corbin had a different experience, I think.
Much worse.
Yeah. Okay, with me, like, I already knew that going into this, he'd never coached me my whole life in any sport, my whole life, because he's always, you know, football year round, recruiting, this, that. He barely watched any games until we were in high school, really. Then he could come watch, like, Friday night games. You know what I mean? And then when I went to college, I was like, I expected him to be harder on me. Like, that was just the expectation. And then I would say, you know what? He was going to give me – I didn't realize how hard he was going to be. So then I always had to do more than everyone else. The expectation was more. And then how he spoke to me was different, but I knew that was going to happen. So at first, I didn't really – at first I was, you know, I was good. And then next year, I was just like – me and him, I remember we, like, butted heads a lot. And we, like – I remember like – I was like, he'd ask me, you know, come watch film. I'm like, all right. So I always watched the game before we'd go and watch with everyone else. I'd be like, hey, you want to watch the game? And we watch it. And, he would just rip me, like, the whole time. But then he'd be like, oh, good job. Like, that was a good play. We go in with the team. We go in with the other guys. Every time I did a good job, that's the worst job I've ever seen. Like, or he wouldn't say anything at all. So then I started to realize, okay, if he doesn't say anything to me during this film meeting, that's a good thing.
No news is good news.
No news is good news. Yeah, and then, like, he would give me, you know, more compliments, you know, by ourselves or something. But, like, you know, looking back, like, because I didn't have him for 1 year, and then I went back to him my senior year, and I think he did I mean, honestly, like, I think part of it's because he's my dad, but he sees, like, how to get me, like, just locked in and how to get the best out of me. And I really realized it, I'd say, going into my senior year.
Took you a couple of years, though, to see that.
Took me a couple of years to see, like,
Right.
You know what? He wants me to be, like, he's not just coaching me this way because for no reason. Like, he's getting on me because he sees that I can, you know, be good at this and I can do, you know. So anytime, like, I wanted more correction, like, I'd go to him, hey, tell me, like, you know, and he'd tell me, and it became a lot better. And during games, like, if I wasn't doing something very good, I remember one game, you know, I mean, obviously coaches aren't supposed to touch their players, but when it's your dad,
When he brought you into this world.
It's a different story.
Coach wasn't touching you. Dad was
touching
touching you.
No, coach was not touching. My dad was touching me. He came up to me one time, just grabbed me by the helmet and, like, shook my head like, hey, you're supposed to get a sack on that play. You know, he's just getting me like,
This is child abuse, Dad.
yeah. Stop it, Dad. No.
Bronco.
But you know what? I was like, we started going at it, though, like, not like in a bad way, but like we were like, I was just like, I'm gonna get him next time. I'm gonna get, like, I never felt like I was like, I knew whatever he said to me was to make me better. I never took it to me back to him. It was always me to the game. So then I went out and I had like 2 sacks in the next series or something. Like, and I think but it starts from just like him getting that inch. Like he knew like if I get on him, this dude's gonna fire up and he's gonna get mad and then he's gonna. So
well, and you got to remember he's coaching other kids too.
Yeah.
And that I think that would be an interesting dynamic because like I always complain about working for my dad in construction because he was hard on me.
Yeah.
But it's because he can't show like
Exactly.
no
1
favoritism.
ounce of favoritism because you're his kid.
Yeah.
And so I think that would be a fine line to walk. So
Yeah.
how was your experience different, Corbin?
Mine was super similar, and it was because mine goes back even further to when I first got a scholarship to come to BYU. You know, I wasn't the man child Bronson was growing up, but,
Right?
and so like going into my senior year when I finally got offered a scholarship, it's like yes.
It was that
Free
chess
school.
club, dude. It was
Yeah.
just like they just couldn't quite
like, this guy-
separate the two people.
Really. But I remember like one of the coaches told me when I went after I had gotten, you know, offered a scholarship. He's like, it's so funny because we had staff meeting this morning and, you know, we vote on the guys. Like, do you think you should get a scholarship? And the only person that didn't vote for you was your dad. And I was like, God dang it. And I knew ever since then
There's
this
no
upward battle.
favoritism with
Oh,
that guy.
It was
my
an uphill
gosh.
battle because like he expects a lot out of us and he is not going to give you an inch. And it's almost like you said, like he can't show any favoritism.
Right.
And
He's
So-
warrior mentality. He's so into
so
that.
playing for him, like, and Coach Kalani even told me this my first game when I went in unexpectedly
Right.
because Coach Kalani told him to put me in. My dad wasn't going to put me in the whole game, and then he's like, "Put in Corbin."
Wow.
And my dad's like, "Well, if you say so."
Then you
Coach,
got a
like,
sack,
you're
bro.
my
Let's
boss."
go. Let's go.
And I think it was neat because it was one of those things where no one expected me, no one had expectations of how I was going to play. It was like, this kid's coming from basketball. And to watch my dad, like,
He gets
balancing
hyped.
he gets so hyped. Like, he's
You make a
trying
play?
not to be, like,
I go watch
he's
the
trying
film.
to
I
be,
see him on the sideline.
you know, a coach. But when you
I'll
make
tell
a
you
play,
about
like,
it after this.
I remember watching film and, like, you see him on the sideline. He's about to, like, get stoked. And then he, like, composes himself. And I come off and he'll be, like, just whispering in your ear, "Good job. Do it better next time." Like, good sack, but you could have gotten there faster. You know, like he's just trying to compose himself. And so it's been, yeah, it was interesting having him as a coach because he's so hard on you.
Right.
But like Braun said, he brings the best out of you. And it was nice too because all of your teammates know that he's more hard on you than everyone else. So they can't
Right.
play the favoritism card.
Yeah.
They're like, "Dude, your dad really gets after you. Like, how's it at home?"
He never talks about it at
But
home.
that's the cool
That's
thing
the
about,
thing.
like, that's what he was so
Football's
great
football.
about. is,
Football
like,
turns off.
when the game is done, it's done.
Unless we
Like,
start watching football.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it
That's
turns
like
back into football.
Yeah, you
we want
always
to start
wanna-
watching NFL.
when you're watching film or something.
Bron,
it's like-
stand up. Bron, stand up. That's like the only time, really.
Yeah.
You have like 13 texts after a game in the NFL.
I don't seriously. Yeah, what's going on? What's up with this?
Just
this,
every
this?
little thing that he
Oh,
sees.
really? I remember in
Yeah.
high school, the first time he watched Bronze play in high school, we're sitting in the stands, and he was like getting so nervous and stressed for Bronze, and so he gives me a list of things to tell Bronson. Goes, "Sneak onto the field and go tell him." I'm like in 8th grade
even
or
know
whatever,
this.
and
This is crazy.
I'm like, I walk down there and I'm like,
I'm playing
"Bronze."
quarterback, man. What's he
Like,
know
You're
about quarterback?
And you had like a little list?
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, he just
Oh,
told me all
that's
these. I didn't remember
amazing.
all of them either. I was just like,
yeah,
the
that's true.
Dad wants you to play better. Something
Dad
about
said
coming
you're
off
being
the
a
edge.
candy at? Oh.
No, that's true. He does. Yeah, he cares. Now that you're saying that, I'm thinking back when he like first came and watched. Like then, like when I started playing, like up with the varsity, then I realized like he would come to the games and you know, he would just sit there quietly in the
Yeah,
back,
no
just
emotion.
no emotion the whole time. And so then, but then at halftime, I see him start moving down, and I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And then at every halftime, if he's there, he'll come up to me and like talk to me real fast. And then as I'm going out or something, he talks to me real fast or something like that. And yeah, and I felt like he never really like came and forced like technique or this or that on us. Like if we came to him, he would do it. But he never came to us and was like,
Yeah.
dude, let's watch film. Like, let's do that. And I think that's probably not
He
until,
wanted
like,
us to be
college.
driven.
Once we
Trust in the
Yeah.
process too.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
trust these
'Cause
dudes.
there's a lot of helicopter parents, right? They just want to fix every little thing as they see it.
Yeah, let them make mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's nothing better. So
Well,
yeah,
and there's other coaches too, like like Kalani.
Yeah,
Like Kalani basically pulling rank, right?
yeah,
yeah.
Like the fact that other coaches notice you
yeah, exactly.
and just say like, "Hey, put him in." Like that's
Yeah.
awesome, and like you said, you got to trust it.
Exactly.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
cool.
So
So what are you guys doing to make sure that next step? So you have football right now you're focused on.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard all the stats about football players and athletes and
Yeah.
money and what
We've all
happens.
watched Ballers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, but I mean, are you guys? I know you have to be really focused in football in the day to day, but
Yeah.
in the back of your mind, are you thinking, okay, what can I take from this on like stage 2 into business, into my next, into my next life, into my family as a dad
Yeah.
or whatever is going to happen? Like, are you guys aware of that, or are you so focused in making a team and just getting through the year that you don't really have time to think about that?
I'd say I go through like phases. I'd say like during the off season, you have a little bit more time because you're not as locked. I mean, you are locked in when you're lifting and stuff, but it's not. The pressure's not there as much, so you think about it a little bit, and you think about you go and explore some different things. You go like I've gone and like job shadowed some places and just kind of been there, and I've gone to I've been to different like people. Like that are successful, and I go and sit down with them, have like lunch or dinner, and just ask them questions. So it's more about me. Like for me, how I view it is I want to go and see different fields. Like once again, it's like a little kid again. Like what am I gonna do? Like, but I gotta make a decision. But I want to see what's out there, and yeah, you go through college and you study your major, and you can always do stuff like that. But at the same time, I just know there's so much out there that. There's so much to learn, and for me it's like I want to do like hands-on learning. I want to talk to the person who's done it and learn from that experience and then decide. So I mean it's a little bit, but like as you get closer to the season, that goes out the door. Like
for that.
You just start locking. Like it just goes up, ramps up. Spring comes along, it's up. Then you have a little break, and then you're still locked in. A little bit more free time, but then as the season comes, it's just football, which I love.
Have you experienced any of that yet?
I think more than anything, you realize that like football players, it is a profession. Like guys beat on this craft and get so good at it, and you realize this is like what it takes to do other things, and like as soon as I leave this, like that mentality has to go with you.
Right.
Yep.
Like, it's seeing like Drew Brees, like the way he operates, he is a professional to the core. Like everything he does is so precise, so well set up. A lot of people think, oh, these big time players, like they probably just take it easy now that they're older. Oh, it's totally opposite. They get more serious each year on what they do and how they do it. They're so meticulous, and it's like, wow, you apply that to any other field of work and you're going to be successful. So I think that's probably the main thing I've seen in the short time I've been around is like these guys are all about being meticulous and getting things done. And I'm sure this is how they are in every facet of their life. They can transfer that to anywhere.
Well, to have the success that he's had and still be the first one there in the morning.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty much always the first one there in the morning. And it's like, and I've heard from Taysom, like he has his routine.
Oh, yeah.
And it, he reminds me a lot of you guys too, because he's just such a nice, normal guy, and he's kind of maintained that. But I mean, when you have that much success and you're still like treating it like it's your first day.
Yeah.
Like what does that tell you? Like you can't
Exactly.
slow down.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think you're right. I think a lot of this will carry over. But I also think it's important to kind of find, at least in the off season, start thinking about like what you're interested in.
Just do something.
Oh,
Because you're still going to be young when it's done,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got plenty of time.
right? You guys just need to coach.
I know.
I'm sorry, but you guys would be amazing coaches.
Oh yeah, we can coach. Yeah.
So, well, this has been awesome. We could
Yeah, good
probably
luck to
talk
you guys
for
this
3
year.
hours.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
But
Appreciate
thanks
it.
thanks for coming on. Good luck. Like, of course, everyone here is pulling for you. Like, everyone loves the Kaufusis.
The
And
Kaufusi
so-
kindness.
The Kaufusi kindness, man.
There you go.
And killer Kaufusis. Kaufusis don't quit or can't quit. Kaufusis can't quit or don't quit.
Never quit.
Never quit.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? The other one she had.
You Kaufusis can do hard things.
There you go. Hard
We
things.
got to get
Yeah,
like
do hard things.
mayorisms, like the mayor. Like we got to get.
Oh,
like,
yeah, we got
you
some.
guys got to start like writing down things that start
That's
popping
real.
up.
Oh, I know we
Right?
should.
Yeah.
Can't do it right the first. If you don't do it right the first time,
Right.
that's my saying for me. I'm the one who gets that one all the time.
The thing I remember is those things happen.
Oh, yeah,
That was my favorite. I'm like, Mom, what happened to those things happen?
that is a
Those
main one
things
for
happen.
sure. That
Your
is like
kid
one of
just
the
spills
There's your
those. My
next-
mom's like, those things happen. I'm like,
Yeah.
what happened to that saying? You don't say that as much anymore.
Well, there's your next Mother's Day and Father's Day present.
Yeah,
Just
that's
write
right.
write out all the things that helped you that
I'm
you start
serious.
remembering. No,
Sweet.
they're awesome people.
Well, thanks, guys.
Well, appreciate
All right, go
it.
get them. We're excited for you.